Today's topic is very interesting again, as we have mentioned. It's on understanding autism, promoting inclusivity, and fostering belonging. And will be delivered by Dr. Shan. I'll say a bit more about Dr. Shan in a minute. But I'm an incurable researcher on dynamic, I would say. So if you look at, for researcher, you always look at numbers. What are the numbers like for prevalence of autism in the world? So there is a question, something I picked from the net just now.
Yes.
Even in the US, this is hard to say with clarity what is the extent of prevalence of autism in society. So, but one thing for sure, it is on the increase. I hope Dr. Shah will agree with that. One stat is that in the year 2000, prevalence in the States at 1 in 150 children that lost their autism. And then in 2015, 15 years after that, it has gone up to 1 in 68.
Yes.
And the latest stat that we got for 2024 in the state, in the state is 1 in 34. What about Malaysia? We don't have a conclusive number, I believe, but I saw something, one research says that this was way back in 2005, 1 in 625 children.
Yes, exactly.
So that is from the research fraternity in Dubai. If you look at government announcement, there was an announcement by the Minister of Health saying that there are 30,642 students in our primary and secondary schools diagnosed with autism. The government did something about it, coming up with more autism centers, preschool autism center. So it is in the it's in the public policy domain, and also in the cultural side. There was a movie. What was that movie? That was in 2016. A movie called Red Up.
Yes.
The life of Baby Heart, Narayanan and Namdur. And this movie has won a prize for the cultural exchange prize for feature film. So it is in the consciousness of our society, but it used to be a taboo. Too much, we don't talk about it, diagnosis is difficult. So we know a bit about autism from the research side, from culturally it's being discussed, but we haven't had the privilege of hearing from a practitioner. So we are privileged here. We have Dr. Shan Narayanan, who is a pediatrician by training, who was trained in Australia, then he went to UK, spent about a decade there, right?
In UK, in Cambridge.
In
Cambridge,
for
yeah.
a decade.
Now, I was in UK, working in UK for 10 years in different parts, and finally, before I came here, they have rotation. So it's called East Anglia rotation, which involves Cambridge. That was the final place that I trained.
We shall say more about this. He described himself as a passionate, proponent of autism awareness in Malaysia, and this session will present to us or discuss the unique ways where autistic individuals experience the world, and Dr. Shah will also be sharing with us how to connect with autistic individuals. What are their entry points?
Yes.
And Dr. Shan ran the clinic in the book, child healthcare clinic in the book. And in fact, he took the ETS grade in Europe today. We should thank him in a big way before we start. And he's also a coach because he deals a lot with parents, dealing with dealing with children with autism. And then that led Dr. Shan to write a book called Why Me? A parent's journey with a child with ASD autism spectrum disorder. The book, I think, is out there for you to get here. Get his autograph later. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Shan to start the session.
I've been a pediatrician for 30 years. Of that, 10 years I worked in UK, and 20 years I've spent working with children and families with autism. So we'll start off today with an icebreaker activity. Can you please take out your phone and go to the Notes app? Because I'm going to ask some questions. As the music plays, I'll ask you some questions, and please answer as fast as you can, no pausing to think. You have to answer as I ask you, right? And there are 5 questions, and there will be a nice music played on the background. right? So you can do that. Have you all got your app, notes app? Everyone is ready? So nobody has extra advantage. So everyone stay, yeah? Okay, we go. Huh? Now the music will start. Okay, the first question is write down the name of 5 fruits that come to your mind. 5 fruits. Write down the name of 5 fruits. As you are writing that, what's the name? What's the answer for 243 plus 649? And as you are doing that, Lithuania is in which continent? And as you are doing that, what is 1000 minus 26? And finally, how far is KL from Ipoh? How far is it? Okay? You're going to stop in the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Ah. Okay, may I know who has finished number 5? All 5 questions. Can you put up your answer? Who is at number 3? And who is still at number 1? Yeah, thank you for owning up. Right? Firstly, may I ask, how did you feel as I was asking the question and the music was on the background? Yes? Can I louder? Yeah, pass it to you. Disturbing, yes. Anyone else? One more option? Yeah. Confused. Yes. Why? Why disturbing? Why confused? Distracting. Just for 30 seconds or maybe 1 minute, you felt confused, distracted. This is what an autistic individual feels all their life. See, as I walk, there's noise, I'm talking, there's noise from my shoes. If I open this bottle, there's a noise. It doesn't disturb us, but it disturbs them. So, why did I have this activity? To give you, to start off, to let you know how they feel 24/7. When you begin to understand, then you will be less judgmental. And that is the beginning of inclusivity. They're already thinking about a lot of different things. The flights of thought is there. And all this sensory input, which doesn't bother us, the light going into my eyes, the background sound of the aircon, right? It's there, but I'm ignoring it and talking to y'all, but it disturbs their thinking. So they become nervous. They become agitated, fidgety. And some children may even have tantrum in the mall, the loud blasting. And what do people say? Bad parenting. It's not bad parenting. It is being judgmental. We have got a system called sensory processing system. Okay, their wires for sensory processing is different. The little noises that doesn't disturb us somehow. Remember school day when the teacher writes on the blackboard at that time, then there's a sound kee and it irritates you? Yes, this is what that happens. Similar feeling. Just like just now, that noise, I'm asking you a question and I purposely asked it very fast to put pressure on you. So, see, even when we talk in the normal tone, for an autistic individual, it may be like it's so fast for them. Language, even you speak English, Malay, may be like French. But if you use visuals and gestures, they learn fast. See, when you look at disability, you can look at it various models. Okay, there are 5 models, but I'll talk about 2. One is called the medical model. The medical model is where the individual or the child is the problem. And that's how we are trained in medical school. The child has got autism disorder. This is the diagnosis. This is the treatment. These things will affect the outcome. And that's the first part of my presentation. And I'll go through very fast. Right. So that's the overview of what I'll be saying, the first few slides. Okay. We start at typical development. Any child goes through this development. We all went through that. Gross motor, the non-walking child, the baby, starts walking, that's gross motor. Fine motor is the use of the fingers, learning to use the fingers, very important. Your buttons, your zips, right? Writing, speech, language, very related to the hearing. and social emotional behavior development. In autism, the impairment, the medical model calls it impairment. The impairment is in social communication. That means there are those children with autism. It is believed that children with autism don't talk. No, that's not. Some of them talk like little professors. I have boys coming in and telling me, 4-year-old, hello, Dr. Shan, how are you? I'm here to see you today. No, very fluent. But socially, they don't know how to adjust themselves. And that's what social communication, impairment of social communication interaction, and they got restrictive, repetitive behavior. They like doing same thing repeatedly, and they're quite rigid in the way things are done. They like to follow their way, and if you change their way, then you may have a tantrum. So the impairment in these two areas, then we diagnose as ASD, and that we don't look at, so it's a neurobiological disorder. The structure of the brain is the same as us, but the wiring and how they interpret the signals that goes into the brain is different. And it's a lifelong developmental disability. First documented in literature by the psychologist Leo Kanner in the 1940s. So it's been there. We understand better now. And globally, 1 in 100, yes, it's US, it's 1 in 34, 1 in 34 children, and Malaysia is 1 in 625 children. This was in 2005. There is no update on this. But we are seeing more and more children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. It's more common in boys. That's what is stated, 4 times more than boys. However, actually, we are seeing more little girls. Girls learn to cope better. Their problem starts when they go into formal schooling. But now I'm seeing more little girls, 2.5 to 4 years old. And why we diagnose boys earlier? They tend to be active. Girls who are quieter and they're cleverer in masking the symptoms, cope better with it until formal education. There's no racial, social or ethnic boundaries. Okay, it's genetic in cause. And how do I diagnose it? Our clinic kesihatan, every time the child goes for vaccination, they check on the development. So there's progressive surveillance, right? And so from there you get referrals, or due to parental concern you get referrals. How do I do? There's no special test for this. You need a detailed history and then observation. Sometimes in the first visit, we don't rush to make the decision. You have to see the child in different situations. Sometimes I do go into the nursery to see how they play with children too, before I make the final decision. And then diagnosis is based on a criteria that is DSM-5, Diagnostic Statistic Manual of the American Psychological Society. That's our standard. So that's the detail of the criteria. And basically it says they must have impairment in these two areas, social communication and repetitive restricted behavior. We don't talk about severity, we look at how the level of support they need. Those who are what we call mild, level 1 support, they need social skill training and attention. That's what their issues are, attention issues. Level 2, they will need more, communication is more limited. They are able to talk in words, and they will need sensory processing support. And level 3 is they need substantial support because they have minimal communication and self-care. So what to do? We use evidence-based management that I mentioned in the video. I won't go through again. And the outcome, it depends on, our aim is to make them independent, functional adults. That is by improving communication, reducing behavioral issues and sensory difficulties. But it is also dependent on the acceptance, the severity, the treatment, and not only that, is whether the treatment is available where they are. In KL, probably you'll have Klang Valley, there's lots. But outside KL, Penang has got good facilities. Ipoh is going, but when you go into the more rural areas, you may not have the support that they need. So it depends on the support availability and also whether parents will take them for that support. That's the other. Okay, this is the medical model where the child is the problem and the treatment. Right. Now, but the topic doesn't talk about diagnosis. The topic talks about understanding autism, right? So what medical model says that the child is the problem. But when you want to understand autism, what it means, the problem is in the society. That's the social model of any disability. That the society is creating the barrier for these individuals to be included. That's why I'm with you. So I am included in that too. I'm trained as a pediatrician. We are trained as fix-it model, right? But I have now, my years of experience have now told me it's time to move to the understand it model. Understand autism. The medical model looks at it as a deficit-based impairment, but neuroaffirmative is looking at it positively. So we look at it at the strength-based. Okay, the child, what I know, we have made the diagnosis, but within that you have ability. I will look at what you can do, and then we will create a plan to support you accordingly. So you look strength-based rather than deficit-based. And autism, that's the DSM-5 criteria. But if you want to look at it neuroaffirmative, that's positive way looking at it. It's a variant. It's not a deficit in social communication. They have got a different style of social communication. So we have to understand their style. And yeah, they have routine, special interests, maybe strength. But they do have sensory needs that needs to be supported. And it's the spectrum. It says mild, moderate, severe. No, it's diverse. If you have seen one autistic individual, you have only seen one autistic individual because every one of them are different. Right? And management is acceptance. Not only the parents. In that video, when I was still in the medical model, I talked about acceptance by parents. But actually, it's acceptance by us as well to include them in the society. And support and accommodations, making adjustments for them. Okay. So the myth, yeah, autism is a tragedy. No, it's not a tragedy. It's a different way of thinking. And this is when you come into the social model of disability, this is how we think. It's a different way of thinking. They think differently to us. What do you see in this picture? The mom? Mom is frustrated. The boy? The boy is happy, correct. See, she is frustrated because he's playing with the toy, arranging the toys that way only. And he looks at it, keeps staring at it, and he's happy with that. But mom is frustrated and she thinks bad parenting. Why do you think she thinks it's bad parenting? That's the first thought will come into her, into most moms. My child's not doing, I've done something wrong. Is it me? Is it me? They always ask me this. Why does that thought come in? Anyone? Yes, exactly. And mostly from people you know very well. But the boy is happy. And along there, you see, bad parenting to different thinking style. And you have a photo. That is autistic Professor Stephen Shaw. He, at 4 years old, this is his own story. It's in the YouTube. At 4 years old, he was playing like that with watches, mechanical watches, taking it out and fitting it well. And his parents observed that, no? And they thought, okay, that's what he likes. They went and bought different types of watches for him. Big, small, this. And he actually took them out and fit exactly, and it works. So he had a skill there. They noticed that and they gave him and this. And this is what he said. See, when parents were getting him more things for him to dismantle and fix, he thought, hey, my parents understand me. And he started looking at them and interacting with them. And that's when his communication improved. See? So you need to find the entry point. Right? If you look at it from the medical model, fix-it model, do it this way, it doesn't happen. But when you begin to understand the child and you go the child's way. I had a father, his child was always playing with blocks. So to the extent he was distressed until one day he cried in the clinic. So I just told him, you go back today and you play with him the way he plays. Just try. He said, no, that one has got no meaning, doctor. I said, no meaning, doesn't matter. You don't need to play for meaning. You play for fun, right? And he did that for a week. And his boy looked at him, started engaged. He encouraged him to play his boy's way. And that improved the interaction. Then, lack of empathy. This child is crying. And you look at that photo, The boy looks bright and is giving something. What we would do, we'll go probably put the hand around the child, calm the child down, yeah, and we expect the child to do that. But autistic individuals show empathy in their own way. So he is trying to calm that boy by giving him something. And he's happy he's trying to engage his friend. So they express empathy differently. And another belief is all autistics are savant. Not all autistics are savant. About 5% are savant. So some do have unique ability, but they are not savant. See, if you look the girl on the right, the way she's drawing, very detailed drawing, that's a savant. And this girl probably has got some ability, extra ability in maths. So not all autistics are savant. And we have a artistic person in Malaysia, Art Jamila. You can check on FB. She's got her own gallery, Art Jamila. And they say autistics cannot form relationship. They form relationship in their own way. See, communication is just not by talking. There's body language, there's gesture, there's gadgets to communicate. And this young man is using his gadget to communicate with that young lady. And they're forming a relationship there. If you give space and time, they will be able to interact with you. Are we giving the space and time for them? Do we have the patience or the acceptance to do that? And it's believed we are seeing more and more individuals with autism. This is a modern disorder. No, we understand better. There are better diagnostic tools, diagnostic criteria for this. And the picture shows the grandfather looking at his grandson remembers himself when he was young. And autism runs in families. It's genetic. Okay, now coming to inclusion. What does this picture tell you? A lot of color pencils there. I can't hear. Sorry? Diverse? Yeah. Why do you use the word diverse? Different colors, different size. Right. And anyone else? Any other options? Yeah, that's right. They are different colors, different size. They are all put together, and that's inclusion. Yeah, different size, different colors together. But that's inclusion, physically inclusion. But when you want to accept them, then we move on to what is called belonging. Whether the color is, the pencil is long or short, you give equal value to them. Yes, when you value what that individual has to contribute, that individual's views, then you make them belong to the team, to the society. So belonging is different from inclusion. Inclusion is the first step. You bring all of them together. Then acceptance, accepting their social communication style, accepting their sensory needs. You may have parties. They may not want to come for parties. It's not because they are antisocial. They become nervous in group setting. They don't know how to adjust. So they may say, I'm not coming. Now this has happened to another institution, a staff, because she was autistic, and I don't think she declared that during the interview. So she never attends any of the social functions, and they isolated her, and that put her into depression and went into other problems. So if we want to create belonging, yeah, they have to come out and be honest about their differences, and then we learn to accept the differences. And when it comes to workplace, when hiring, I have an early intervention center, and if I hired a person with a neurodivergent person, right, I give them the questions before I interview them. Because autistic individuals need predictability. When it's unpredictable, they become really nervous and they may not perform and you may not see their skill in the interview. So I give them the questions first, okay, then we interview them. In our early intervention, this for children, we have a quiet zone. We have a quiet zone. And in workplace, we suggest this too. Have a quiet zone. If they are feeling nervous, then they can go to the quiet zone, have a 5-10 minutes break, and then return to their workstation. Meetings might be overwhelming for them. So giving them instructions through email, written instructions, or through messages would be more helpful for them. The adjustment is according to the situation, how exactly and what you do. And training and awareness. Most important is the co-workers, training them, making them aware of neurodiversity, and the neurodivergent individual has a support structure for their career growth, and there is a need for leadership commitment. When leadership commitment, we want to employ neurodivergent individuals, then comes the inclusive policies, and they remain there. So the commitment from the leadership is very, very important. My takeaway is autism is a natural variation. True inclusion means creating belonging. And the third is we all have a role in creating the neuro-inclusive society. Look at this lady. She's at work, but she's got a headphone and she's got her sunglasses. She's so happy. She's cancelled the noise, cancelled the light, and she's able to focus. Why don't we accept them as they are, even they look different or behave slightly differently from us? Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I put this because I'm organizing this seminar in Ipoh in May. Okay. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shan. We'll now go to the Q&A section.
Thank you, Dr. Shan, for sharing your journey as well as your knowledge on autism. But I think on a couple of places you sort of mentioned autism, and then you also mentioned autism spectrum disorder. Is that, do you want to explain a bit the difference?
Yeah. Right. In the video, I've used the word autism spectrum disorder about 10 times. I listened to it and I counted 10 times. Yeah. Now I use more autism. The difference is from the deficit model, move to strength-based. See, autism is a development, right? I showed you the typical development pattern, and we all develop that way, and that is called neurotypical. But there are children who take another route to achieve. They are neurodivergent. So this is the autistic path. So it makes a lot of difference, especially to an individual, right? And I learned that when I was spelled. I went for a course called SPELL, and there I realized when we give out the diagnosis, we are saying autism spectrum disorder. We are already setting the mindset, your child is disordered. So I realized before I bring change in the society, I must bring change to myself. So that's how I moved from the medical model to the social model of disability. So I still continue my diagnostic work, but my language that I use is different.
Thanks, Dr. Shan. SPELL stands for structure, S is for structure, P is for positive approach,
Yes.
E is for empathy, L is for low arousal,
Yes.
and
Another L.
another L is for link, so network. So I've learned a few things before the conversation with, before Dr. Shan started this conversation with her. If I can pick a couple of scenes from your book, just to flesh out the details from your rich interaction with Puan Mohamita. Mohamita is the mother, and the son is Mohamed, right?
Yes.
The son was born as pretty much a normal child, right? He started saying Papa at the right age, and then suddenly he started becoming,
Yeah.
more.
At about
Yeah.
before 18 months, he had a few words. Mama, Baba, yeah, he had. But 18 months after, he started losing those words.
Right. What is that? So is that common, or is that
Most of them, this is the developmental progression, and we see this in children with who have autistic development. They tend to regress at 1 year. Somehow, the process starts there. Most of them, when we take the history, they are okay till 1 to 12 months to 18 months, then they start regressing. That's the bane. The network that was working now shifts. So that's where loss of connectivity.
And then in another scene, after Puan Mohamita has gone through the journey with you of how to get the entry points and how to deal with the son. After a year, she called you up and she broke down.
Yes.
And she asked the question, why me? Do you want to elaborate more on that?
Yes. Okay. That brings to why the title is Why Me? Because for 20 years, this question was inside me. Not why me, because every time I've given a diagnosis, without fail, in the first 5 to 10 years, the parent breaks down and cries and asks me this question, why me? See, when we are listening, it also goes into us. It also affects our emotions, right? So I was finding an answer for that because I don't have that answer. They'll ask me this, why me? Standard questions, it will come. Why me? Will my child go to normal school? Will he be able to manage himself after me? These 3 questions are standard. So that's why. But Monita never asked me that at diagnosis because she's the kind of person who puts a brave front. And her husband takes a step back. With the children, Monita will decide. That's their agreement. Okay. So Monita puts a brave front. But until what happened was, her close relative, one day they were at home. And in crowd, Mohaimin behaves differently. He's a very pleasant boy, right? Right now when he sees me, he'll say, "Hi, Dr. Shan, belum tak jumpa lama." And he'll come and give me a high five. But in a group setting, he's different. He becomes very nervous. So on that day, there's so many of them, so many things happening, talking, some people eating. So he became agitated and he started throwing toys and it hit one of the relative, and then I think there were a lot of exchange words, but the conclusion was Monita did not bring him up well. So that was the end point for her, and she started breaking down and crying. And in that moment, she remembered my number and she called me and she said, and that's where this came. And this is the journey that the parent goes through. Many parents go through. Some share, some don't share. If we made it easier for them by understanding autism, it makes. Right? And the reason why I'm here is, over the years, the number of children diagnosed with this is on the increase. It's 1 in 625 from 2005. There's no further research done on that. There are more. It's not just me, right? It's other pediatricians are seeing, psychologists. And earlier, Dr. Azri had said 30,000. The Kementerian said 30,000 plus. 30,000 plus are the registered ones. When you take the OKU card, then your number get counted. But you know how many will not take the OKU card? They refuse to. Until 15 years old, cannot manage in school. They're coming for diagnosis. Then they take the OKU card. So, coming back to the question, the why me? So, this is why she broke down, she cried, every parent. If we become more understanding and less judgmental, right, it will make it easier for them.
Thank you. That's very deep and very detailed explanation of how a parent would go through all these processes. Yeah. I can go on asking you questions, but I think it won't do justice to the audience here. I'm sure you have some questions or points to be clarified. Feel free to grab the mic and perhaps just one house rule if you can identify yourself. Please.
Hi, my name is Yasmin. My youngest one was diagnosed with ASD end of last year. Somehow, doctor, I would like to check with you. So far I've sent him to the EIP program, but somehow before that end of last year, I was trying to send to the normal kindergarten school. And then somehow from there, I noticed that he's having like bad tantrum. And then when I tried to send to the EIP school, he got what you call that? The tantrum is so bad until to the extent that now it's already the third month, March, from January to March. Whenever he goes to school, he will like try to pull my hair, the mother shirt, everything, without fail. So I believe that might be he has like something that he can like, the image captured, right? I think what that he has experienced in the old school might be threatening him, I guess. He cannot like connect with the normal kids, something like that. And then I'm trying to get rid of the what you call that, the feelings like when you go to the school, you should enjoy the thing, the moments, right? But it seems that I noticed that what he can like process better than normal kids, right? Like my other kids is whenever I'm about to reach the school, about like 5 kilometers away, you can notice that no school is in. You can recognize all the images, I guess. And then second thing is I can check with you, doctor. I tried to buy some stuff like for the educational toys, right? But somehow I noticed that he like very quite selective in terms of the education toys. I think he more prone to jigsaw puzzles. So for me, from my angle is obviously I would like to explore for what you call that education toys, which is like more variant, right? For his improvement lah, in terms of the motor skill, or factory skill, those kind of thing. But then somehow too he like refused. So how am I going to like try to like try or I mean to identify ways that I can like to open up what you call that his what you call that his choices of the toys and also the impression what he needs to have when going to schools.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It's a long question, plus the answer will be very detailed, but due to time, I'll keep it short. How old is your son? I believe son, Jasmine?
Yes, correct. He's 5 years old.
5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's having summary adjustment issue in school. Current is an early intervention center. Yeah. But briefly, he was in a regular kindergarten. And second thing is, he's very restricted in his play. And you want him to play different things. Okay, the first thing is adjustment in the school. Then to look at it holistically, right? He speaks English or Malay?
English.
The school teaches in?
Mix for the old school, but for the EIP one is English.
English, okay. That's always there. Yeah? Many of these children speak English perfectly, right? Even single word will be English because they are exposed to YouTube. I think they start off their language learning through YouTube. Okay, sometimes there's a mismatch. Currently, I have a child in the center. They put him in a center fully, Malay family. They put him in Malay speaking, but he speaks English with American accent. So he didn't adjust. So they didn't adjust. Though he is a level 1, that's the level of support. So he's there. So I would look at school, the program that the school is doing. See, first you need to understand him, know his strength and his area of needs. And then his ability to communicate. And is the EIP engaging him? So is it the old memory or is there no engagement in the current EIP? Let me finish. That's how I will look at that issue in a broad way. And as for the play, as autistic Professor Stephen Shaw said, if he likes jigsaw, give him jigsaw for now. Understand him, go his way, and you will get him to your way. See, we have expectations as parents, and it's not wrong, right? It's not wrong to have the expectations. However, he wants that. So give it to him, go his way. There will come a time, I don't know when, but there will come a time he will come your way. Right? The jigsaw, you can get pictures of toys. So he gets to see, they're visual learners. So he gets to see different toys. And you can put the toys around. And if his understanding is good, you can negotiate with him after some time. Okay, jigsaw puzzle, half an hour. After that, we do something else. See, this is the best answer I can give in these circumstances of limited time. Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Shan. Do I recognize another question, another hand from this side?
Hi, my name is Sylvia. I wanted to ask about neurodiversity inclusion in workplace. Can you share an example in Malaysian corporate setting that which corporate entity is doing well in this aspect that can use an example as a reference point?
Okay. Petronas has a Neurodiversity Center of Excellence. They work with Ernst, the big accounting company.
Ernst & Young.
Yeah, Ernst & Young, EY, yeah, they have. And I know RHB Bank and a few other banks are doing inclusion, right? And also, because they follow routines and they are very exact, there's a number of restaurants that employ them as well with fixed instruction, what time you come in, what do you get, and you have to, if your role is cutting the vegetables, how do you have to cut, and they will do it perfectly for you. So whether an institution wants to include, I think first you need to understand the inclusion, what is the need of the inclusion, then the neurodivergent individual look at their strength and whether it fits. You have to do a matching. So, but as I know of now, I know bank is doing as well as Petronas and some restaurants.
Are there spaces in public places?
Public places, sorry, I don't understand.
Shopping malls or?
Yes, there are some cafes in shopping mall. Mm-hmm. They will do cafe work well. See, I had a boy who diagnosis, he was diagnosed at 6 and he didn't talk till 16. And then when I lost contact, then he came back to me and he's got skills in numbers. So he was offered a cashier's job in a cafe. So at 21, 22, right, he came to see me, suddenly appeared. And he said, Dr. Shan, I need to talk to you because I have an issue with anger management. So if I want to keep my job, I must know how to manage my anger. I can manage the cashier job. See, so it depends on the individual, and then what their strength and what is their area of need, and then you have to see.
Doesn't the individual actually understand his own condition that he is autistic, so he will actually approach someone to help improve his own condition?
Yes, after a certain stage they will. You see, the level of support, the long term, we cannot predict at time of diagnosis. About schooling at 2.5, when the parent asks me, I will say, we make a decision about schooling at about 5 to 6 when they have learned most of the skills. At the moment, your child needs early intervention. Probably they can be in a regular kindergarten at 5. Similarly, the development that I have seen, I'll answer your question. There are some who remain in the severe category. That means they have no awareness, they have no language. That is getting less and less. What we are seeing more is more of individuals in level 1 and level 2. Those in level 1 and level 2, after a certain stage, they have self-awareness. See, I met an autistic doctor, lady doctor who's 40 years old, and she has to have vegetable. When she takes vegetable, especially like beans, it has to be in even number. It has to be in even number, 4 pieces. So if she has eaten 3 of it, there's only 1 left, right? So she learned over time, I'll cut it into 2 and I'll take the 2 and eat, and she, yes. So to answer your question, yes, many of them after some time have self-awareness.
Yes, this individual, if the condition is not severe, so he can take care of himself, but of course maybe not financially. He doesn't quite understand how to manage his own finances later in the years. So I'm just curious. So do you think this individual would know that he is not as capable as a normal person? And is there a need for him to make him aware that he has this condition, that so he's not like a normal individual?
There's no right or wrong answer for that, but I'll tell you the experience of this autistic doctor. Yeah, she declared she's autistic, and she chose a job that she'll be comfortable. So she's in a department where she has to work on her own, right? And she's told her friends, I may not come out with you all. So it depends on the person whether they want to declare they have this issue or not. Have I answered your question?
If it's maybe if family, relative or friends, so you try to help the individual. So is it good to make him understand that you may not be as good as a normal individual because you have this condition. So you need to learn harder or in a certain way so that you are able to perform the task.
No, that's fixing it. And why say that they are not good as others? If we understand them and provide the learning in the way they can comprehend, you can bring out the best in them. Maybe the best is not your expectation.
Yeah. Maybe is there a way, a method to teach such kind of individual so that they can understand better?
Yes, so there's a need to understand their learning style. How do they learn best, right? And then provide them the instructions accordingly. So this is the broad answer I can give you without understanding the details about the person, right? But we need to understand them.
Thank you. That question brings a good sort of mood to end the session, to draw the distinction between what is a fixed model and what is a social model, which Dr. Shan has been trying to emphasize. And thank you so much, Dr. Shan, for coming all the way from Ipoh to join us. I think we've all have learned a lot, and I think I'm left with this task to just get everyone to thank you in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.